righty. Welcome to Detroit in Black and White. And we've got Jim Nardone from Trenton, the former police chief there. And we've got Vanessa Moss, an attorney, who hopefully we'll see sooner than later on the 36th District Court bench.
Or a bench somewhere.
Yeah, well, one of the benches.
Hey, good evening.
So a park bench, maybe.
Yeah, we're going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about the weekend, the Thanksgiving.
That's where I want to be. Sorry,
Thanksgiving parade and everything. Sort of some normality amidst a kind of crazy year. And Jim, I'll turn to you first. And anything on your mind? I guess we'll start with that, and then we.
Well, I think everybody's got their little Thanksgiving hangover, so I hope everybody's feeling okay. I hope they had a nice Thanksgiving. And I was just thinking, I read a couple of days ago, there was an article, I guess an editorial in the Free Press by Dana Nessel, the current Attorney General of Michigan. And I guess my first reaction to it is, first of all, what kind of set me off about it is she's being critical of a couple of the Trump appointees or potential appointees. And I get her point exactly. I don't disagree with what she's saying. A couple of them, like RFK, has been accused of sexual misconduct. Matt Gaetz, obviously, supposedly paid for a prostitute, a 17-year-old prostitute, which really in most states is of legal age. However, it's still illegal.
Right.
And Pete Hegseth, who I guess is who had a big issue, maybe raped a lady out somewhere around San Francisco. I don't disagree with anything she's saying. I think they're all bad choices, personally. Mm-hmm. But to say that this is anything new is ridiculous. It's been going on in every administration, Democratic, Republican. You can go to Bill Clinton, you can go to some of these senators' offices, you can go to John Conyers, you can go all the way back. And I don't think this is limited to Democrats or Republicans. I think it has to do with power and or money. And I think that she needs to be a little better loser, I guess, is my point of view. And I'll leave it there.
I get your point, but I just want to counterpoint a little bit. I think, yes, I mean, look, the allegations have been, through different administrations, stuff like that. But I think here it's a little bit more concentrated. I mean, you have the president himself, who's now everybody's like, suddenly he's sanitized, all the criminal charges are vanishing. All the allegations are suddenly like he's totally legitimate. He's bringing these people who are not only have sexual allegations, which normally the FBI would have done background checks, and in a normal administration, these people wouldn't even have reached the point where they would have gotten the appointments. But not only that, I mean, what exacerbates the whole thing is that none of them are really qualified for their positions. But I think she's got a point. I think it's a little bit more concentrated in this administration than previous ones. It's like, yeah, Bill Clinton, there were allegations there, and not to ignore those allegations. But I think here there seems to be a very cavalier attitude about that. Like, who cares? It's a lie. Doesn't matter. So I don't know. I see your point, but I kind of feel there's a little bit of a distinction there.
Vanessa?
So what are you asking me? First of all, I want to tell everybody that's watching Detroit in Black and White, good evening. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. You can catch us tomorrow morning live at 11 o'clock in the morning.
10 o'clock.
Sorry, 10 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock. And happy Thanksgiving weekend. I was supposed to go out tonight. There's a lot of black ice, so I'm in the house. I'm at home. So I'm not going to talk about Dana Nessel. I'm not going to talk about her wanting to change the flag and her being critical of the people that the president-elect is nominating. What I am going to talk about is I talked to a couple of people today, and there's a concern. I wasn't aware of it, and maybe you are aware of it, Allan, that people, I understand, that go and pay their property taxes. They may be behind in their property taxes here in the city of Detroit. Mm-hmm. And they go to pay their property taxes, and of course, the water let's see, water, sewage, what's the other part of it? That's all attached to their bill. And so you may have enough money to pay for your back taxes, but you don't have
Mhm.
enough money to pay for your water bill. And there's a potential for them to be able to take your property.
Mhm.
That is happening, and that's happening with older people. And I understand that this went before the city council. They had several meetings about that, and
Mhm.
people didn't show up. This sounds like the same thing that's happening with the whole court town thing and saving the bricks. And so that's going to be a problem. That is a problem because I'm hearing rumblings of that. Have you heard anything about that, Allan?
I haven't, not lately. I have not. I mean, I know there obviously the water has been an issue, and foreclosures on homes for back taxes have been an issue. I think we've run a bunch of commercials for people to go to the treasurer and try to work out payment arrangements, but I didn't realize, look, that money's tight for a lot of people, and some water bills are expensive, and the back taxes are expensive, and so I mean, hopefully we can find ways. I mean, particularly you don't want to push people out of their homes in
Yeah, but I mean,
Detroit.
if you pay your property taxes and you got enough money to pay your property taxes, and Jim, I don't know what your take is on it. You have enough money to pay your property taxes. You get there and say, "Hey, I can pay that, but I can't pay this." You're still in a position of potentially losing your property for water. Are you kidding me?
Well, I don't know about the water, but I can just share my personal experience with you. That's tragic if that's the case, for sure. But
Right.
my dad in his later years, he's an old Italian guy, right? And he wouldn't let anybody tell him what to do. Well, he decided that he didn't decide, he was having some challenges, and he quit paying his taxes. And I would like to commend the Wayne County Treasurer's Office. They worked with me.
Mm-hmm.
It cost me a little extra money, but they were very good. I cannot knock the Wayne County Treasurer's Office. I had some success with them, and they were flexible, and I have no complaints there. But I do see the threat there to take someone's house or for water or unpaid taxes. We need to work with the people that are struggling, for sure.
Yeah, and I think from what I understand, that there are people that were pretty surprised they get down there to pay the property taxes, don't have enough to pay the water. I'm like, why are they sticking the water bill on the property taxes? I understand because in law school we learned that the water runs with the property, but why have a Detroit water and sewage department if you're going to take that bill because this person's behind and attach it to the property? Listen, clearly they couldn't pay the water bill. So I mean, so you're telling them, look, you can pay your property taxes, you pay it, but if you don't pay that water bill, then you could still lose your home. If that is the case, that's a problem.
Yeah,
That's a whole problem.
yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. I look into that. I didn't realize
Yeah,
they were
I
attaching that. I mean, it's
yeah.
like when you go for a license, you renew your license and you've got back tickets or whatever, and they won't let you renew your license until you pay your back tickets. I mean, maybe there's that concept there, but uh, you know, times are tough for some people, and it's like it's a lot of money.
There's a lot of money, but when you're talking about water is one thing, then you have to pay sewage, and then you have to pay what is that other, the runoff or whatever. That that to me, if that in fact is happening, I understand that there was a senior citizen, somebody that I know ran into someone who was having an issue and was not aware that now they're taking that, if you have outstanding water issues, they put in on the property taxes. That just sounds very, very wrong.
I
Mhm.
think that's happened all along. When your taxes get rolled over to the county from whatever municipality it is, I think at some point they combine the water with the back taxes. Maybe one of our viewers has some insight into that, and they could help us out there. But I know that's happened here in Trenton, where you end up not paying for whatever it is 2 years, and then it goes down to the county. You have to go to the county and pay. And for
Right,
some reason, a lot of times they do put the water with that. So.
right.
So do they lose their property as a result? So they can pay the property taxes, but because they can't pay the water, do they lose? Have they lost their property? That's what I'm talking about.
That I don't know. I think they combine the charges, and you have to start at some point trying to make an effort. We shouldn't be putting anybody out for not paying their water or their taxes
No,
for
not
for
at all.
2 or 3 years.
That's
but
crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. So
I'd like to bring up another issue. Maybe, we played this video this morning, and if I can play this video, and my point being, the media. What I mean, Trump has demonized the media and made it sound like, particularly the liberal, radical media, whatever. And to me, as a journalist, this is very frustrating when I'm going to play this little. This is from the Jimmy Kimmel show.
President-elect Trump, of course, has vowed to increase production of oil and natural gas. Do you support his choice of Jed Clampett to lead the Department of Energy?
I don't know much about the guy.
What you've heard, do you support?
What I've heard, I would support it. I think we need to get more domestic oil and gas here.
More Texas tea, black gold.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Trump naming former drug manufacturer Walter White as the head of the Food and Drug Administration? Do you support that?
I do support that, although I do not back any big farm agenda. I am all for JFK Jr. being in charge of some of our health-related FDA.
You're a fan of JFK Jr.
I am.
Was this serious?
Yeah, yes. And I mean,
that could not be serious.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a man on the street kind of thing. They're doing that. And well, here's the thing to me is that's very frustrating is that there's so many of the people out there who aren't curious enough to, they don't keep up on current events, which it's not for everybody, but the media is out there reporting on all these things, trying to keep people informed, and a lot of people don't seem to care about being informed. I don't know.
That's not legit. Jed Clampett is not going to be in charge of energy.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, to me, it's just, I mean, it's not the only, thing. And it's like, people don't care about, being like, people say, oh, the New York Times, the liberal fake New York Times, the fake Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal and stuff. The majority of people are probably not reading those publications, not really trying to stay up on the news, or even the Detroit News and the Free Press.
What they're doing is they're doing what they're doing tonight, looking at podcasts. Because I'll be honest with you, I think I've told you that. I've said this on more than one occasion on this show. Listen, I stopped watching the local news. I've stopped watching CNN, MSNBC, Fox. I stopped watching them a while ago. It's been almost 2 years. Okay. I read the paper, right? I read the paper to keep.
What do you read? What papers do you read?
I read everything that I could get my hands on. I go on the internet and stuff just pops up, and I look. I'm in the Atlanta Journal. I read the Post. I read the New York Times, the Daily Beast, Newsmark. I mean, everything. I listen to NPR. That's something I do every day. I listen to NPR. But people, as you said, not keeping up with current events. No, they're watching podcasts. They're looking out on their phones to get little tidbits of news. TikTok, Instagram, instant gratification, instant news, and they want to go. And all the stuff that people talk about, like in this last campaign, racism, sexism, misogyny. They are tired of hearing it. And guess what? They say, listen, who isn't a racist? Who isn't prejudiced? Who isn't a misogynist? This is how people feel. They're tired of hearing the same old thing. Hey, Karen Winston, what's up? She said she wake up with NPR.
Yeah, so, let me say this though. When we talk about podcasts and all that kind of stuff, they have to get their news. They're not reporting the news. They're getting their news from somewhere, and so I don't know if they're selectively picking news and then raveling some into conspiracies and stuff like that. I mean, you can't look, even like the Jon Stewart show, the Daily Show or whatever, they have to rely on the mainstream media and the mainstream media being also Fox News. But look, MSNBC is very slanted. Fox News is very slanted. I mean, I guess part of it's like you decide which slant you want, but it shouldn't. The problem here's how I see the whole problem started is that CNN was the original cable news, 24/7, just, kicking it out, trying to be straight. And then Fox News came in, and Fox News decided to deliver a point of view. And Fox News was killing it. And the CNN ratings were going down, and Fox News was making fun of CNN. Your ratings suck. So CNN and MSNBC decided, well, we'll do the other side. We'll do the liberal side, but we'll give a slanted view. We'll be like basically a mirror for people, an echo chamber. And that's how these cable things have created. And Fox News is apparently, I think whoever, Fox News, I think people right now, the MSNBC ratings are really low because people are just sick of listening to everything and sick of the hand-wringing by the Democrats, why they lost, and people analyzing and how do we redefine ourselves, Democrats in crisis. Every party goes through a crisis. The Republican Party has gone through crisis before. The Democratic Party is going through its little, moment of crisis. But I worry about the media reporting things, and I worry about people not wanting to.
But people don't know who's running the Department of Energy or who's in Health and Human Services. I don't think people really care about the cabinet. I think when those names were thrown out there, the people that were interviewed were just saying, yeah, I agree with this or that, but I don't even think they listen to the names. It's hilarious as an outsider, but when they're on the streets, they want to sound intelligent, so they're going to go, "Oh, Jed Clampett, he sounds like an interesting guy."
Next thing you know, Jed's a millionaire.
Yeah, Jethro's his whatever assistant or granny or whoever.
Make you go watch some episodes of the Beverly Hillbillies. I used to like that show. I haven't watched it in quite some time, but you guys are going to make me go and watch it.
Yeah, I love the Hillbillies. I remember the first episode when the doorbell rang and it was ding dong, and Jed's like, "Woo, doggy!" Every time that music happens, there's somebody at the front door.
You know what? Speaking of Beverly Hillbillies, I'm just going to pivot a little bit. I remember as a kid watching the Beverly Hillbillies, and it was always something different about Miss Jane. Okay. And so when we talk about now we talk about
BQT plus
alphabet, that I call it the alphabet soup. Listen, we're looking. When did that show come out? In the 60s?
Yeah, in the
60s. Yeah. Listen, it's just this is nothing new. That's my point. There's nothing new under the sun.
I think Mr. Drysdale is all over that. I think you're wrong.
We all knew, but nobody ever really said anything. Nobody ever said anything out loud. But as a little girl, I knew. I was like, Miss Jane is not like
the rest of
like my mother. She's not like Miss Kathy, okay? She wasn't not very feminine at all. But
hey, Denzel,
that was very interesting.
Well, either was Granny for that matter, but Ellie Mae.
Ellie Mae was, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was such a great show. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, we have a viewer, and they texted and they said, when you talked about people being appointed to these cabinet positions, about them not having experience, and someone said Jennifer did not have any experience with her job.
Jennifer,
that's somebody. Jennifer. I guess they
look. There's no question.
Jennifer Granholm, you need to answer. Are you talking about Jennifer Granholm or are you talking about Gretchen Whitmer? I don't know.
I'll tell you this. There are certain cabinet posts that I think when you're talking about Secretary of Energy, Transportation, I'd be Pete Buttigieg. I think you don't have to have. I mean, how many people are transportation experts? But if you're a good manager, like Pete Buttigieg was a mayor of a city, whatever. But when you're talking about Secretary of Defense, when you're talking about the Attorney General's office, and you've only had 2 years of, legal experience. I mean, I've covered the Justice Department for decades now, and it's such a complex I mean, everything from the U.S. Attorney's Office to the FBI, DEA, ATF. It's massive. It's massive. There's complex. There's a civil side. There's there's a civil rights side. There's the criminal division. It's on and on and on. And to put somebody like Matt Gaetz in there, what do you think was behind that? Did he really think? Did Trump really think that was going to work, or was that people are trying to give him maybe more credit than he deserves? But
listen, I think Trump has a beautiful mind. I have no idea what he was thinking.
I think it was the first conspiracy of the new administration, personally. I think it was the first conspiracy. It was a way to get Matt Gaetz out of criminal charges for his behavior, because it was going to be.
That, Jim?
I do. And I think that because Trump wouldn't have let him go that easily. He wouldn't have let it go. They knew all along what they were doing with Matt Gaetz, and it was planned. It was calculating. They knew what they were doing.
Well, that goes to my point. He has a beautiful mind. Now, did Matt Gaetz, isn't he on some kind of new site or something making a whole lot of money?
Oh, he's trying to do things where I think he'll call you. He'll make a video for your birthday or something if you pay him $500.
But it's not an OnlyFans page, right? It's a
I want to go back a few years and
wait a minute, which will probably be more fitting for him, right. An OnlyFans page, given that he's been accused of messing around with kids, basically, and hiring ladies of the night. Although I've always said that
he
can be hired for children's parties now. I guess.
I want to go back just a couple seconds, a couple of years. And at one time, I held a clearance. I worked at a data center in Georgia that was a U.S. Army data center. I held a clearance. And when you look at these people, whether it's Matt Gaetz, Pete Hegseth, who they apparently took off of the inauguration when Joe Biden was there. He wasn't allowed to participate as whatever he was in the National Guard, as an Army guy or Marine, whatever. That I go back to a guy named Larry Kudlow. You guys know who Larry Kudlow is, who Donald Trump brought in, but Larry Kudlow had a really bad drug issue, right? Mm-hmm. So he would have never passed. He would have never passed the clearance, would have never got a clearance, but Trump brought him in for like 6 or 7 months, and they're just in the periphery. He wasn't ever appointed to a position, and I see more of that, which is I don't necessarily agree with.
We got another comment. They say that people need to not worry about what Trump say, worry about what Trump do. He confused people about what he says, and y'all all caught up on what he's saying, and they don't really see what he's doing. That's what the Democratic Party does at all. They all worry about what he was saying.
I think that might be true, but I'm not
absolutely
part of the Democratic Party, and I'm not worried about. I'm more worried about. We should be more concerned about what anybody does instead of what they say, and that's a good point. I don't disagree.
Why don't we break for commercial, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
In the heart of Detroit, Bruce Simpson. Our city ombudsman and his team are dedicated to making your voice heard. The City of Detroit Ombudsman is a liaison between the City of Detroit and all persons who have a complaint or inquiry into the operation of a city department or the conduct of a city employee. The Ombudsman works as an independent oversight to provide individuals with an opportunity of giving a confidential avenue to address complaints. You can reach the Ombudsman's office at 313-224-6000 or email us at ombudsmandetroitmi.gov. You can also visit us at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. For more information, go to www.detroitmi.gov and type in Ombudsman. We are here to help. In Detroit, we are all one team. When you win, we all win.
I love teaching others because when I first got into the healthcare field, people overlooked me. I was really a 9th grade dropout who had no education, but I was determined to make something of myself for my baby. So Motor City matched the funds I put into my business. They awarded me $20,000. So now I'm able to focus solely on first step healthcare training and give it everything it needs. All because I live in Detroit.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
We're back, Detroit in Black and White, our Friday evening edition, with Allan Lengel, who is recuperating from a fall. I hope you're doing better, Allan.
I'm doing okay. I've got the reason that people are wondering why I'm in an awkward position here. I've got a full leg brace on. I tore my quadricep tendon, and I had surgery on Monday, and it's
you having surgery this coming Monday?
No, I had it this.
Oh, you had it this past Monday?
Yeah, I had it,
Okay.
and I have a leg brace, and I am hopefully headed in the right direction. But it's I have to have the leg brace on for at least 2 months, if not 3 months. So.
Wow. And we're also here with Jim Nardone, and we always have Lady T in the back. She's working this thing out. And of course, you have Vanessa Moss. Adolph is not here this evening dropping F-bombs, talking about F this person, F that person, yada, 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 scoop out the Scooby-Doo. But he will be back tomorrow morning. Listen,
I'll do an Adolph imitation. Fuck that shit, man.
Right. Let me ask you guys this. Did you guys hear that Mary Waters is talking about running for mayor, as well as I knew Coleman was going to run? Did you guys hear that?
I didn't hear. Is Coleman running?
That's what I heard today.
Really?
That he's talking about running. Mary Waters talking about running. Then you have Mary Sheffield that's running. This is going to be a crazy mayoral race. You're going to have 20 million people.
Joe Tate. It's going to be quite a few people in there. I don't know if Coleman, to his credit, I mean, Adolph ran his campaign, and he made Duggan. Duggan ended up.
He had to run. He actually had to run.
Yeah, he had to run, and he had to do a debate with him and stuff like that. And Coleman's a very bright guy, but I'm not sure he can get elected. And Mary Waters is ditto for her, and I don't know about Mary Sheffield and Santil Jenkins. I think they're probably up there, but Joe Tate perhaps, and who knows who else.
And Mr. Porter has.
Yeah, he said Mary Waters need to go sit down somewhere.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. I appreciate his comment.
Yeah, thanks for the comment. But we're going to have, it's going to be so many people putting their hat in the race. It's going to be absolutely crazy. But what's even crazier, if these people that are currently sitting on city council, if they're running for mayor, then of course we're going to have a whole lot of people running for city council.
Right. I mean, I would like to see.
Quite interesting.
I'd like to see Coleman spend more time on the council. I'd like to see Mary Waters. These people get on the council and then they're just looking for the next, stepping stone. Where it'd be nice.
But isn't that almost every office though? People run for the school board. They want to run for something else. That's why they all on the news talking about lame duck sections and people should be doing this. I thought you were sitting on the school board. What are we talking about here? Yeah, right. Shots fired. Shots fired. Yep, y'all right.
Where's Adam Oliak?
I'm just saying. Most of them do that. I mean, you say you want them to sit there a little longer to do what?
Well, I think to make a name for themselves is having accomplishments that people can point to them and say, this is their accomplishments. This is that. I mean, I'm sorry, just putting in the time. I mean, I give Gretchen Whitmer credit. I thought she wasn't going to even stick around for a full term, and she's going to go, a full term for both.
Wait a minute. Now, so Mary Waters, as well as Coleman, they both ran for state rep, and they both won. They both ran. So they have the experience. It's not as if these are two people who don't have the experience. And then when you talk about Mary, I'm just saying on both sides, when you talk about Mary Sheffield, how long has she been sitting on city council? We're talking about people who have a lot of experience.
She's been there.
Have names for themselves.
She's been there a while.
Names for themselves.
No, she's been there a while. Coleman has not been there all that long, and neither is Mary Waters.
But is it necessary though?
Well, fine. You want I mean, they're entitled to do whatever. They can use it as a stepping stone. But to me, the credibility is, I mean, as a voter, I'll decide based on, what they've done, what their accomplishments are.
So y'all heard it on Detroit Black and White. He's not voting for those two people.
No, I don't know.
I like the idea of somebody younger.
I don't know, Mary. I know Coleman. I think Coleman's a very bright guy. I like that he's on console. He's an honest guy. I like that he's on console, but I'd like him to stay on console.
We have fragrance of.
I think that's
a lady says that Mary Sheffield's time for her to have a seat in the mayor's chair. So we got somebody that's supporting Mary Sheffield that's watching Detroit Black.
That wouldn't surprise me if she was elected. Not at all.
I mean, to me, one of the top criteria is not only being very capable, but also being a good manager. And I have to say, for whatever criticism people might have of Mike Duggan, I think that was one of his really strong suits, that he's a really strong manager. And so we'll see.
Hey, thanks, Yolanda Woodley.
Right.
Oh, thanks. Yolanda.
Yeah.
All right.
So is that a friend of yours, Allan?
I worked with Yolanda both at the Detroit News and the Washington Post. Yolanda is amazing. She's just a great reporter.
She needs to be on the show and not just
really
comment.
Yolanda, I'm so sorry you had to work with Allan.
Yolanda, you know what? The Washington Post didn't always have all. There were some really good people, but not everyone was kind. And Yolanda was, one of the kind reporters there, and I really appreciated Yolanda there. And she was connected. Yolanda got connected with sources on her beats. She was a good reporter. Just really an outstanding human being. So it's great to.
Thanks for tuning in.
Popping up.
Right, it's time for us to go. Karen Whiston said, "Let her get in a race. Ready, set, mark, go." But it is time for us to go. It is after 9 o'clock. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Detroit in Black and White. Peace out.